And just so everyone's aware, I will be leaving at 7 o'clock, and Councillor Windsor will assume the duties of the chair. And adoption of the agenda as amended, because I believe we're removing 3.2. Is that all? Councillor Moore? Anything else on that? Call the vote as amended. All in favor? That's carried. And then we'll have a motion to go to closed meeting, and I'll wait till we're at the minute. At least we get through a minute at 6:01. So we can now make that motion to go close at 6:01. The council will be leaving chambers to go to a separate room to accommodate Councillor Deputy Mayor is virtual tonight, so it will include him in that portion as well. So a motion to go closed at 6:01. All in favor? That's carried. Because then I will have a motion to accept. We did.
Yeah.
Can you say it to the camera?
At 6:32.
By Ethan Williams.
And we all agreed to, yes.
So a motion to accept the cost of living adjustment discussion as information. Councillor Williams. All in favor? And a motion to accept the water transmission line / Water for Life grant application as information. Councillor Baswick, all in favor? That's carried. So now we move on to business and the community group funding requests. We had the groups come and all their information is in here and everybody's had lots of time to think about it. So I'm going to ask if there's a motion on the library, Isbury Municipal Library grant ask of, where is it? $17,222, which is that ask has been, when it includes Parkland Regional Library funding, it's skewed 6.7, but it's to the budget of the library, it's about 4%. But is there anyone who would like to make a motion?
I can make that.
Okay.
But I haven't calculated the per capita, if we just do that, because that's included in the
Oh.
recommended motion here.
Does anybody, well, we'll have the motion and the discussion, we either
Okay,
approve
so
it or not,
I
so.
move to approve the 2025 library operating grant totaling $276,867 made up of the following. No, just period.
Okay, do you have any discussion on that?
No, like, I guess
I think that we had them come to explain to us what they wanted and what their request was, and if we weren't going to kind of take that into consideration and look at what they were asking, then I don't know why we did that engagement. That was all. And it's 4% of their budget. That's not necessarily reflected otherwise.
Amanda, without Parkland Regional, it's how much of ours?
I'm looking for the page in our budget. Yeah. Possibly have that.
32.
Thank you.
So through the chair, the individual operating grant itself, is that the question?
Yeah.
So it's a increase of 6.7%.
To our budget?
That doesn't include Parkland Regional. Parkland Regional is a
I'm
separate.
sorry, yeah, that's to our budget,
Yeah.
yes. I'm sorry that was there.
Okay.
Do you have any comments on that, Councillor Williams?
I agree with Council Winter. They came, they asked, and they do so much for the community. I think that is what we can do in return, is to respect their ask and put it up to 276.
Councillor Moore?
I agree.
Okay, Councillor Baswick?
I agree.
All right. So we can vote on that motion?
Did Councillor Engel?
Oh, sorry, where is the deputy mayor?
Did you lose it?
Deputy Mayor there. Okay.
Closer to a mic or something, I can't hear anything that they're saying, or a speaker, and my chat is disabled.
Okay.
Is chat. I don't think that's really
Cat.
We will try to use our mics. I don't think.
Mayor Hunter, would you like me to repeat that so that
Yeah,
we're hearing? Okay.
So, Deputy Mayor Engel, my motion was to approve the 2025 library operating grant totaling $276,867.
Say that number again?
$276,860.
It's right there.
Yeah, I was thinking of another number.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, and Deputy Mayor, are you in favor of that? Can I ask in the meantime are we making any progress on them using the Old Town office, that money would be valuable for that they indicated?
Can you hear better now, Deputy Mayor?
Thank you for the question. So at the council visioning session that's happening on December the 9th, that will be one of the topics for discussion so that we can go back to the library with a plan.
Okay, thanks. Are you good to go there, Jocelyn?
No, my computer just crashed. No,
Well,
it's not
I
gonna
just
work
think
any
maybe we
better.
have to say that Councillor or Deputy Mayor left the room for, these are just, yeah.
Somebody could use my computer because I'm just going to use mine.
Well, it's just a matter of streaming them in, like he's
Do you
done.
want me to do that? I can see them.
Well, if I grab that computer,
No, I
I
think
don't
it'd
know how
be
she's got it
easier
set
if we
up.
just call them.
just call.
Yeah.
If I have this just right by the mirror. I heard this, we're having computer issues, so we'll just have to have this computer here, if that's okay.
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything he was saying, I heard nothing.
So are you on page 3 of the budget package for tonight?
Pardon me?
Are you on page 3 of the budget package for tonight? For tonight's meeting. So the motion was to approve $276,867 for the grant, operating grant for the library this year.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, then no more comments. I will call the vote. All in favor?
Yes.
That's carried. All right, and then we have the Disbury,
Mayor
the
Hunter,
motions are out of order, but
yeah,
that's okay.
do we need to follow through with the rest of the recommendation there, or do we just leave that to administration to do that calculation? Because essentially it's just calculation.
Well, it isn't relative to the amount approved, but I think we'd like that information brought back.
I think, what I'd recommend is, I think that for the motion purposes, it's fine to put the amount, and what we can do is in the minutes, put a little info piece under each motion that says what that breaks down.
Yeah, I like that.
So,
So, yeah, can we have that brought back? And maybe just make those motions that those things are brought back,
okay.
right? So you want to finish that one?
Sure, that I'll
I
move.
think, actually, if you want to, sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, go ahead.
Amanda raised a good point that there is a purpose actually that could be served by having the per capita in the motion due to, to communicate that per capita that's being done. So for each motion, it is in the, if you just go up to page 2, it just, it shows you the, is that, oh, it is there, oh, it is in there for the library. Yeah, yeah. So for the library, it's there.
So do you have those numbers
The
then?
numbers there, reverse them.
So we did vote on that, and that that money represents, how about carry on with and?
Okay, the names are wrong.
The names are just reversed there, so.
Yeah, but we're trying to get back to the per capita for the library. Do we have that?
Yeah, so if you're using the amount,
Oh, it's at the bottom.
yeah,
Got it, okay.
Bottom?
Yeah, the bottom of the page.
On the page.
But they're,
Library services.
but they're reversed, right? Is what you just, that's what
Yeah,
they're
The
reversed.
numbers
we just
reversed,
discovered
yes.
that.
Okay, so, and that, let me go back to the motion now, that, for the population of Mountain View County Recreation and Culture Area for rural Disbury of 2,336 residents, approximately $19, I gotta get the other page, $19.08 per capita, or $44,576 shared services funding. And for the population of Disbury of 5,070 residents, the remainder, approximately, whoops, wrong way, approximately $45.82 per capita, or $232,291. Did I get
It's
those
not the
numbers?
same amount.
Yeah, they're up top.
Because you just said, the operating grant is.
We'll check it and make sure in the minutes it's right.
Pretty
Okay,
sure that's the number that's here.
yeah, it is. Yes?
Just wondering, the motion that we just made was for 276,867.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying it's 232?
291, yeah.
It's Didsbury's portion, because the county portion is 44,576.
Oh, and the county portion is included on page 32 of our budget document. Okay,
And on
thank
page
you.
2, yeah.
And on
That
page
is-
2.
That is the explanation. Thank you.
Okay. I'll call the vote. All in favor? That's carried.
You gotta make sure it's over here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Just. And now the Disbury District Historical Society funding allocation. Councillor Williams?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the funding for the Disbury and District Historical Society Disbury Museum 2025 operating grant in the amount of $37,440.
It's much easier than the last motion. Any comments on that?
Same as before, they asked, and the museum and the Historical Society, they do a lot for this community, and I think that we can help them out as much as we can.
Councillor Windsor?
I have nothing to add to what Councillor Williams said.
Councillor Bowser?
I'm good, thank you.
I agree.
Okay. So I will, here, I'll put this phone where I'm seeing it. Sorry, Deputy Mayor. I'm glad you,
Good with that.
okay, I'll call the vote then. All in favor?
Yay.
That's carried. And the Disbury Lions Community Bus request for financial support. And they suggested anywhere between 9 and 12, and we give them 9,500 last year. Is there a number? I think 12,000 is in the budget right now. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I will make a motion.
Okay. Go ahead.
I move the council approve the 2025 draft operating budget for the town. I don't know where to make the motion. That the operating.
It's on page 3.
$12,000 requested by the Lions Community Bus be approved by council.
How much?
12,000.
Okay, so to approve funding for the Disbury Lions Club Community Bus 2025 operating grant in the amount of 12,000.
Yes.
Okay. Any comments on that, Deputy Mayor?
No.
Councillor Williams? Councillor Windsor?
Well, 23% or 26% increase is a fairly sizable increase. They asked for somewhere between 12 or 9 and 12. And so it's going on the top end. I can live with this, but I do think it's a little more than what is necessary.
Okay, Councillor Moore,
I agree.
Councillor Baswick,
I am absolutely fine with the $12,000.
okay. We'll call the vote, all in favor?
Yay.
That's carried. Okay, we have item 4.2, the updated municipal enforcement vehicle replacement scorecard. That was asked to be brought back from the last meeting. Councillor Windsor,
Thank you, Mayor Hunter. As I asked for this information, I will move to accept the scorecard for the municipal enforcement vehicle as information.
any comments?
Yeah, I really appreciate bringing that back. Thank you very much for that.
I agree, the information is valuable.
Okay. Councillor Moore? Councillor Baswick? I had a number over 40 in my head that was the indicator too, and maybe no one can answer that here tonight. Maybe someday I'll look for those papers that, it was over 40, it was really a high priority, and when it's still over 30, I guess it still is too, so I probably can't ask anybody that because our asset management person isn't here. Is that a fair assumption? That 42 rings a bell, and I'm just wondering, and I'll ask another time, maybe when we get a better look at that. That's fine, I'm glad it's brought back, and it's the information we asked for, so.
It might have been because when we were last talking about that, the vehicle in question just happened to be over 40
Could have been.
on the score,
Yep.
which was
He needs to speak into his mic, please.
Sorry, Deputy Mayor, just with the mayor's pleasure to repeat that. Our thinking is that it might have been because at the time it was last discussed, the vehicle in question happened to be over 40 on the score.
Did you hear that?
No.
Okay. It was just a vehicle that was over 40, and that's why it was selected for replacement, so it could have just been for that situation, because we had a really old vehicle high up there. So, could I have a motion? You made a motion. You have the motion. I just saw that. Got BW beside your name here. So I'll call the vote then. All in favor?
Yes.
That's carried. And the full-time fire chief funding allocations, item 4.3 that was requested to bring back. Councillor Moore?
I move that council accept the full-time fire chief funding allocations report as information.
Any comments?
No.
Councillor Moore?
No.
You made the motion, you get to speak first. Councillor Baswick?
No.
I know you can't see us, so that's okay. Kurt, just butt in anytime. Or Deputy Mayor, I'm sorry. Pretty casual
Same
tonight.
thing.
Councillor Windsor?
I'm good, thank you.
Councillor Williams? Okay. So we'll call the vote. All in favor?
Yay.
That's carried. And this next one, I'm going to have, this item was supposed to come back to council, but it was expedited to the budget meeting because there's potential for the design to get created before too much snow flies, so it's here at the budget meeting, and I'll have the chair of the FPC speak to this.
Thank you, Mayor Hunter. FPC dealt with this at our last meeting, and there was some concern about the destruction of trees and the switchbacks that occurred in the designs that had been provided, as well as limited accessibility. There was only one of the options that was actually wheelchair accessible. However, we also had a proposal that was put forward by a resident, Norm Quantz actually, and he prompted us, the committee, to look at other possibilities, and maybe there is another possibility. And so I don't need to regurgitate the recommendations on here. You can see the recommendation there that the FPC is making to further explore the possibility of other designs that would be located on municipal reserve and have as little impact, natural impact as possible, as well as a possibility of looking at whether it can be designed so that it's wheelchair accessible or not. And so what I think we're looking for is additional design possibilities that have maybe a different start point and different end point, but to have ISL go back and look at that.
Okay, so we'll make the motion.
Motion?
Yes, absolutely. Council Breck's administration, I guess, would be to look at it or explore an alternative design with options for the Valles Rosa link pathway, which would allow the project to be located on municipal reserve, maintain the integrity of the existing natural environment as much as possible, and explore the possibility of pathway being accessible.
Do you have anything to add to your comments?
No.
Councillor Williams? Councillor Moore?
Yes, since I was part of that meeting, it was, we were told that it wasn't ready to come to council yet when those first designs came. And certainly they did remove an incredible swath of trees. And I don't think administration was any happier than we were about seeing all the switchbacks, which would have been, I sure wouldn't want to be wanting to run a wheelchair down those switchbacks. So I think the first thing was that none of the previous designs, which tended to be to the south end and through the environmental reserve, were appropriate. The one that came to us from Norm is certainly a lot more appealing and direct. I'm not so sure that wheelchair accessible needs to be part of it, but I don't mind having information brought back with a design for that end instead of what we had before. So that part of it I am okay with, so I will support this motion.
Councillor Baswick? Yeah, and we had a good discussion. Councillor Windsor overviewed it well as chair. And I think I'm looking forward to seeing the design come back. So we have a motion. Any other comments? I will call. Oh, I'm sorry, Deputy Mayor. Gee.
No, that's okay.
Just scream and yell.
I'm good with it anyway, so.
Anything to add? I'll give you extra time.
No.
Okay.
I like what was done with this. I'm happy to see it.
Okay, thank you. My apologies again. Call the vote. All in favor?
Yay.
That's carried. Okay, and then pathway and trail reserve allocation, item 4.5. Councillor Windsor?
Thank you, Mayor Hunter. I'll move to include the additional $45,000 for the transfer to the Pathways and Trails Reserve in the 2025 draft operating budget.
I think what's important in all of these, if I can, is that it's information, it's showing the impacts, and it shows things going forward. So it's nothing is done until the final vote's made on the tax rate. So appreciate that motion. I think it's important. Oh, go ahead, Councillor Williams. Councillor Moore.
I think you know I'm going to, because when it's franchise fees that we're talking about, we have a lot of buildings and properties that don't pay any taxes, including the hospital and all of the provincial buildings and all the churches and the golf course and any kind of non-taxable building for which we have to supply streets and sidewalks. And so having a little bit of an increase in franchise fees, our costs are going up and our amount of roads are going up. and that will include others that don't pay taxes. So I'm not in favor of it going to somewhere else when it should go for our existing roads and sidewalks. So I will not support it.
Councillor Baswick?
I withdraw.
You know, I'd have to think a little more about it. I'm not.
Okay, Deputy Mayor can go. Yeah, I remembered you. Your turn, Deputy Mayor.
So just so I understand this right, we're accepting the pathway and trails allocation report as information, but we're wanting to include an additional 45,000
No,
to transfer to the pathway?
it was a second motion that we're in a position to make $45,000 more from franchise fees this year, so the it would be allocated from that.
And I'm not in favor of it only going to pathway and trails. I spoke last weekend that I would like to see some of that for sidewalks, so I would vote against that. I think that I thought we had asked to see a way that it could come back. I don't want an increase to the budget for $45,000.
And could I just remind everybody, there is $100,000 allocated to roads and sidewalks, and that's on page 68. So roads and sidewalks aren't missing out on any reserve transfers.
I think my question then would be, we're adding an additional 45,000 over and above what our budget has been presented to at this point. Is that what this motion is asking for?
Essentially, it's adding it because it's just taken away from general revenues and franchise fees to transfer into a reserve.
No, I'm not in favor.
Okay. Have we gone around the table? Any other comments? I am in favor. Yes? I am in favor because it's not in stone. It's, I believe as I said last meeting, I believe our pedestrian connectivity master plan needs some attention. And if it doesn't get reserves, it'll never get attention. So I'll call the vote.
I'm sorry, which vote is it? Is it to
Well,
accept the trails?
Well, no, we made the motion to include the $45,000.
What about the first one? Did we?
Well, that was his motion out of the two.
Well,
It says
it's
and
not
though,
or, it's and.
but we
So
don't,
I'm not sure what we're voting on.
okay. I thought that should say or, but I'm probably wrong. That's okay. If it says and, we can do both.
Could we
What's
have-
that?
Can
Yeah,
you have the motion read back to us?
Yes, please.
It's on page 8, but yes, we can.
Moved by Councillor Windsor to include an additional $45,000 for the transfer to the Pathway and Trails Reserve in the 2025 draft operating budget.
Okay, that's what we're voting on. Call the vote. All in favor? Opposed?
Yes, opposed.
Okay, that's defeated then. So I don't think we need another motion. That was just defeated. So, all right, and it is 7 o'clock, so I'm going to pass over. That's just perfect timing, and I reserve all my questions for the operating and capital budget till November 26th, because I have a binder full. And we'll just take a short recess while we make a transition to a new, to a new chairperson for the evening.
Okay, don't hang up on me.
No, maybe Councillor Windsor will remember that you're there. Is that the current chair, Mayor Hunter, is leaving the meeting at, 7:01 now. And we'll need a chair, and our deputy mayor is virtual, so our alternate deputy mayor is taking over the chair.
Yes, we have the administration. The 2025 draft capital budget. Do you want to, I'm going to ask administration if they have anything to add or they want to highlight with regard to this? No?
Thank you. But, you know,
Yeah, I did. I'm doing that on the fly here, Kurt. I wasn't really talking to you. I really wasn't talking to you. I was kind of addressing the crowd here, but that's okay. Well, because you can't see us and which way I'm looking or anything, I get it, okay. So we'll go around the room and see if there's anybody got any questions about the 2000 capital budget, draft capital budget. Dorothy? Sorry. Councillor Moore,
That's
sorry.
okay.
She needs to speak more into her mic.
I'll lean over and do that. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear her?
A little bit, if we can get any more volume.
Oh, okay. You can turn up the volume on your control there. Actually, what I was thinking is that although I would otherwise be prepared to ask to adopt the budget, I think there might be something coming out of other meetings that we are going to have shortly that might make a difference to the capital budget. And so I'm not really asking for additional information, but I would like it to come back again. And I'm not sure how to phrase that exactly. Maybe it is additional information. Maybe I should just do that. Okay, I'm sorry. I will say, I move that council request additional information regarding the 2025 draft capital budget report. It does work. Thank you.
So Ethan, I'm going to jump in here and I'm thinking, like, what information are you looking for? Because I think you need to give them direction as to what exactly they're after, so.
They know.
I don't know.
Whatever comes.
Yes. So that motion is just to set the stage for whatever information you would like us to. So I know that there are things being discussed, but if there is, and maybe at this time, if Councillor Moore is not ready to put that in the motion, then maybe at this time it could be a motion to accept his information and then they can come back. If you're not ready to identify specifically what information you want.
No, I can't yet. So I would, may I withdraw my motion and make it again?
Absolutely.
I move that council accept the 2025 draft capital budget report as information.
And do you have any further comments with regard to that?
I do not.
Councillor Baswick?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I think it's prudent to do this because of conversations we've had that we're expecting something and we're not sure exactly what it's going to be. So I'm supporting this motion. Yes.
I'm a little confused here because, like, I think that probably council should be aware of things that are coming. There shouldn't be one or two councillors privy to information that's pending. So I'm a little confused here. Do you have anything you want to ask about, Councillor Williams? Any questions you have about the capital budget?
I'm just a little confused too, what additional, but I'm totally okay with just accepting as information, the budget, that nothing is a motion, I'm just confused, of what will be coming, and I look forward if there's any additional information that could be coming forward. So I'm good with the motion, just to accept the 2025 capital budget as, draft capital budget as information.
Okay, Ethan, go ahead, yeah. You obviously want to talk, so the microphone's on, so have a...
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think what's being alluded to is there is some discussion with the county right now at the ICC table that will potentially lead to an additional project coming for consideration. That's why it can't be identified yet, because it's still at the ICC table being discussed with the county, which we have a meeting tomorrow with them. And so depending on how that discussion goes, it'll be forthcoming at the council meeting next week.
Thank you, I appreciate that explanation.
And I appreciate Council Moore bringing that up. And the mayor had actually raised the same discussion with me earlier today as well. So I just didn't click right away that you were referring to the same thing. So.
Thank you for that explanation. So for the purpose of the capital budget, the Valarosa Link project, that's the design, the change that we're looking at now is conceivably, the reason we did that tonight was so that it was hastened so that ISL would be able to look at it before freeze up. And so what is the anticipation in the event that they do come back with designs? It was a timeline. Is it January? Is it February? Is it likely that we're going to be approving a capital budget and then amending it down the road because to accommodate that, if that's a choice?
So our understanding is that information will be coming back early in the new year, and then at that time, based on what comes back and what council decides to do with it, they would have the option to amend the capital budget at that time.
Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor to accept the capital budget as information. Report, yes. Those in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Kurt, did you have any comment?
Kurt, I did forget you. Is there any comments, any questions?
Yeah, the only comment I have is, I agree that this should be taken as information. The mayor had to step out for a reason, and the more people we can have voting these in or out, I think are important. So I'm totally happy with the explanation given, and when you called the vote, I said yes, as information.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And I apologize for forgetting you and not getting you in prior to the vote. I'll try to do better on the operating budget. So let's go on to the next item, which is the 4.7, 2025 draft operating budget. And I guess I'll start on this side this time. Ethan, Councillor Williams, Ed, do you have any questions about the operating budget or anything you want?
I'll make the motion. I'm going to make the motion to accept the 2025 draft operating budget as information.
Okay.
Because again, there's something that we talked about. We made a motion for 3.1 to accept the cost of living adjustment as information as discussed. So I don't know if that will have an impact to the the operating budget. So at this time, I would just like to make the motion to accept it as information.
Thank you. Councillor Baswick, any comments?
Yes, sir. I would like to, I wonder if this is appropriate. I wanted to make a motion that I would like administration to revisit the sound system in chambers. If they could do that, just bring back information, because apparently the cost is substantially less than it was before. And want it to look a little more professional instead of people dragging their mic from table to table. Visually it just doesn't look good, and everybody deserves to have that so the people at home can clearly understand everybody that's in council. So that's my idea behind that, if that's acceptable. Thank you.
So I think that we probably shouldn't have two motions on the table at the same time, and so what I think to accommodate that and make sure that that's included in the discussion, I'm going to ask Councillor Williams to defer that to his motion till later in the budget discussion, and so that way that we can entertain any other questions or any other suggestions we have.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I appreciate that. Lou, Anna, you've got that? Okay. So then the motion that Councillor Baswick has indicated is he wants to revisit the sound system in the chambers to improve quality and quantity?
Correct. It would be a little more palatable for people who are listening to our dialogue, and that way also there's a small time constraint from moving microphones from table to table, and this way everybody would have their dedicated microphone, and when called upon it makes things run more smoothly. The additional thing, I talked to our CAO briefly about this, and also suggesting that a lapel mic would be something to consider as well, so that we have a presenter, they're standing there, quite often they stand without a mic, or it's just more practical for people that like to walk around and present to us. It's a small expense on top of this, so thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Baswick. Lou, have you got that motion that you could read so that we can follow through with the discussion on that?
Moved by Councillor Baswick that information to improve the sound system in council chambers be brought back to council for review and recommendation.
Would it be for consideration in the 2025 draft operating budget?
Thank you.
Councillor Morton?
Just wondering if, even in the budget, if deliberations, if we're going through committees to bring it back, like service level committee to look at the improvements in the price and what it would be, or finance committee about the price, what would be appropriate if we're looking at the sound system, or do we go directly through council with information brought back to put it directly into the, I guess that would be capital budget. So I'm just wondering of a process there, if we could ask administration.
I think we could ask administration. I think probably what has happened in the past is that it comes to council, and the council then refers it to one of the, to here to the council, and then it would be referred to one of the committees. But we can ask administration for direction on that as well.
Thank you for the question and the discussion. This is also related to some facility discussions that we're going to be having with council at the upcoming visioning session. So a lot of this will be, I think at this point, just a general motion for administration to re-explore the sound system will be sufficient for right now, because this will be related to some other discussions we're going to have for council's consideration that it'll all be tied together.
So then, Ethan, is the motion that's on the books that Luana has right now, is that adequate direction for you?
It's sufficient, yeah.
Okay.
And then at a future time, depending on how that all unfolds, decisions can be made for putting it to committee if it starts to take some shape.
I'm good with that, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any comments about that, Councillor Williams?
No, I did have a question, but that was answered through Ethan Gorner's explanation. Yeah, I'm good with just bringing this back as information.
Deputy Mayor Engel?
Yes, you're probably speaking to someone right now that's a little in favor of a better sound system. This is a bit of a struggle. However, I had trouble hearing some of the comments, so I just want to make sure that I've got it right. It would be coming back to capital budget, correct?
Yes, yes, sorry, Kurt, or Deputy Mayor Engel. I think that this will come back to council, whether it's through the budget process or whether it's to a regular council meeting. It'll come back for council for consideration and possible referral.
Okay, so is our motion that we're voting on stands right now is to take the operating budget as information, is that correct?
No, the motion we're voting on right now is that Councillor Baswick has moved that we have administration revisit the sound system in council chambers and bring back a recommendation or information regarding that to council.
To the vision.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other
Comments about this particular motion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. Those in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll go around. Is there anything else that people want brought back to the capital budget before we do the Councillor Williams motion? Councillor Baswick, anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did have, but I'm going to reserve that because I don't want to get too greedy asking for things. Good thing, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Moore?
No.
Councillor Williams?
No, nothing else. The
Okay, well then,
thing was what I alluded to earlier, and if you're ready, I can make that motion.
I believe that we're ready for that motion now. Thank you.
I move to accept the 2025 draft operating budget as information.
Any more discussion on that item? Then I'll call the vote. Those in favor?
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Thank you. Well, like it's only 7:21. This was, I think maybe we should have the mayor have other appointment again because it went quick. Everybody wants to get through this because she's not here contributing. So I guess I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
And thank you to Councillor Moore and those in favor. And that's carried. Thank you.